Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Day 2 evening session of Siddhendra Aradhana, Festival of Dance. We start our evening presentation with performances by students of Sri Kuchipudi Nritya Sadhana. It is an immense pleasure to invite Mrs. Sumitra Sukumar to our studio today.
Namaskar.
Namaskaram Andi. Welcome
Namaste
to
Andy.
Siddhendra Aradhana.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Hearty congrats to you, Kiranmai Garu. And many thanks for giving us the platform today.
Absolutely.
Yes. And hearty congrats to all the performers and teachers of this event. I'm really enjoying it.
Thank you. Let me introduce my co-host for today,
Mhm.
Sneha Kaushik. Hello,
Namaste.
Sneha. Welcome.
Thank you.
And she's going to host today some of the sessions of today's evening. Thank you for the help, Sneha.
My pleasure. It's a wonderful initiative, and we're so happy to be part of it as one big dance family. Definitely. Namaskaram, everyone. Welcome, good evening, and a very, very warm welcome to all our dance gurus, shishyas, viewers, and lovers of dance. Welcome to our evening session of day 2 of Siddhendra Aradhana. It gives me incredible pleasure to introduce our first presentation of the evening. This is a presentation by Sri Kuchipudi Nritya Sadhana, Guru Sumitra Sukumar. Sumitra ji holds a master's degree in Kuchipudi and has been a passionate teacher and practitioner of this art form for many years. She has extensively trained many students on this art form. The school is committed to fostering students in learning the theory and practice of this art tradition in its purest form. This helps young students connect to the cultural heritage and adults to revive and nurture their passion. Welcome, Sumitra ji. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you.
We would just like to ask you a few questions before we begin with the performances. What inspired you to learn Kuchipudi when you started learning?
It's interesting that you ask me this question. It takes me back to my childhood memories where I had no idea. I don't have a family background of dance, so I just saw this happen, in my community, in my neighborhood, and I just didn't know that I had to go with my parents or there is a paddhati to go approach a teacher or a guru for training. I just walked up to her and she was in the middle of some guests and some important meeting. I just barged into that room and said, "Here I am. I really want to learn this. Can you teach me?" And I don't know how I came across to her until today, but I did not know much more than that. So there started my training, and I think she was vaguely intrigued, or I don't know what her experience was. A child barging in and asking for training. The journey took on, and ever since, I want to say about from 7-8 years onwards, and for decades now. Pranams to my guru, Srimati Anuradha Venkatakrishna Garu. She hails from the tutelage of Kulapati Sri P.V.J. Krishna Sarma Garu and Vedantam Satyanarayan Sarma Garu. And she is the one who had introduced me to this art form. And when I reflect back now, it was no childhood infatuation. I guess I made the right choice for myself because I stuck to it and I truly enjoy it as much as I wanted to, start this in my childhood. Later on, I took up the master's degree program, University of Silicon Andhra. And I think they have an important role in my journey. I want to talk about their guests of this program, Siddhendra Aradhana, Dr. Yashoda Thakur, and Dr. Anupama Kailash. It was a phenomenal experience working with them, where we got exposed to the various aspects of Kuchipudi, things that don't come through unless it is an rigorous academic university program. Some of the texts and some of the rational insights to the training of this art form, I think was a valuable addition at a later time. The thing I liked about this program, and I think I'm indebted to say this here, is they let us maintain our Guru Sampradaya. At the same time, helped us move forward while keeping our Guru Sampradaya and the individual sensitivities. I think that was really important at a master's degree level. And I thoroughly enjoyed the program, and it was a very enriching experience. So that's my journey, I think.
Absolutely. And
Mhm.
I think
Mhm.
when you barged in without any inhibitions or hesitations, that would have shown your teacher true passion and dedication for the art form. And that's probably what we want to see in our children, in our next generation today, in some small percentage, right? We want to see them truly appreciate the art form for what it is and truly want to learn and evolve
Mhm.
with it. So I think that's probably the best way to enter into any art form.
I don't know. I mean, I didn't even know there was money. I have to pay somebody to train. I just want to do this. Is how the intent was. Sometimes it's intimidating. So such approaches. I don't know, but it worked
Innocent.
out, I guess. She, I think she took the benefit of doubt and trained me, and that's what gives me this stage today.
That's what the dance community gained through a wonderful
Hmm.
teacher and
Thank you.
a wonderful teacher like you. I know
Thank you.
Siddharthi will also have more questions for you. But
Absolutely.
I think we will start with the first presentation of the evening, and then we'll follow up with more questions after that.
Absolutely.
The first presentation from Sri Kuchipudi Nritya Sadhana is Vinayaka Kautvam, performed in Raga Nate Adi Talam. Performer is Ayushi Ayala Somaya Jila.
Tam tat tatina tat tata dita tat tajam tat tajam tat tat tata tat tata dargit tat tajam tat 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 tajin tat tajam tat tajam tangit dargit tajam tat tajam tat tat tataka tat tajam tat tat tajam tat tata dit takit dargit tajam dit takit dargit tajam dit takit dargit tat tigit git ha tit 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 tat 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 ta ram tat ta nu takit takin tat dit tu tom tonga nang dit taga nang dit taga nang dit taga dinda tu takit takit tat dit tu tom tonga ta gam di tam di kit taga di di ta ha rat ta dirgit tangam dikum tari tikit kit taga dikku tonga
हरि हरि गज मुख विघ्न विनायक 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 सुरनुत हर सुर गणपति जय जय सुरनुत हर सुर गणपति जय जय
kitanu tadiku jam jay 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 kitanu tadiku jam jay 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 kitanu tadiku jam kinam tadiku tadiku
देवर गणपति
tang tang tadiki tak
चेतु मुनि स्तुति
tadiki tadiki tang
देवर गणपति
tang tang tadiki tak
चेतु मुनि स्तुति
tadiki tadiki tang
गणपति कौत्वं कलुगु सुभातं गणपति कौत्वं कलुगु सुभातं
dirgid dam dirgid din ta tu dik tak ki tak takir kir re na tam dik kir tak di di ta dik kir tak di di tai dik kir tak di di tam dik dik din na kir tak di dik din na kir tak di din na kir tak di din na kir tak din na kir tak di din na kir tak di ta dik din na kir tak di tai dik din na kir tak di tam tat jam tat ta dik tat tak dik jam tat tat
Beautiful. I think that was a wonderful start to our evening session today. Thank you so much. And thank you very much to Ayushi as well. We wish her all the very best as she progresses in her dance career. So
I
that's
just have a small comment to make here. It is both Ayushi's and Nehal's first Kuchipudi performance. So I think everybody remembers their first performance, and we are incredibly thankful to Siddhendra, Aradhana, Kiranmaya Garu for this opportunity for them.
No, that's my pleasure. And it's kind of their first performance, and they having to perform in this platform. It's as you told, they do remember this performance, and I am so glad that I would be remembered in that way also.
Yes.
Again, she did a wonderful job. What a beautiful start for the performance, as Neha said, praising Lord Ganapati. And I would like to ask, this is not the regular Ganapati Gautvam which I
No.
have learned, or so I would like to know about that. So it's go ahead. I wanted to let you talk.
Like I mentioned, I hail from the Guru Parampara of Sri PVG Krishna Sarma Garu, Vedantam Satyanarayana Sarma Garu. So traditionally, this is the Kautvam that is performed in our style. Yes, yes. There is one piece, one of this Kautvam, and Tandava Nrityakari Gajanana that comes from the Yakshagana, yes, tradition. So that's also another Ganapati. These are the two prominent Ganapati pieces that is from this style. Yes.
That's wonderful. Neha, take it over, Neha.
our next performance from the same school, Shri Kuchipudi Nitya Sadhana, is Rama Pattabhisheka Shabdam, performed in Raga Mohanam, Adi Talam, and our performer is Nehal Bharat Kapadia. Wonderful, beautiful.
Thank you.
Nehal, performance. Nehal has really danced with so much of grace and poise, and again, all the very best to her while she, works further in fulfilling her aspirations. Do you have anything to add about this piece?
This piece falls into the category of Shabdam. Takes a little bit more energy than the Kautuam. I guess it's the next stage in the training. But this is Nehal's first performance as well. So
That's again wonderful. She did an awesome job doing Ramayana Sabdam. Again, this is a different format or different song. It's not a different song, but it's a different style which I just witnessed. What I have learned is different, and what I'm seeing right now is different, which is so enlightening and refreshing to see a young girl perform Ramayana Sabdam. So Sabdam plays a very important role in Kuchipudi repertoire.
Mhm.
It takes a major part. It's usually as a praising of God or a palaka or something, and it's a very fast number.
Mhm.
You don't have a breathing time when you're doing a sabdam. So it's a jati and one liner, jati and a liner, jati and a liner. That's how it has been designed and maybe built. The sabdam is built that way in
And the jati is tuned in the same raga as the lyrics. I think that's the
Correct,
speciality of
correct.
Shabdam.
That's
Yes.
the
Uh-huh.
speciality of especially Kuchipudi Sabdam. I
Mhm.
mean, these are very peculiar to Kuchipudi repertoire. There are Sabdams, however, in another dance forms also, but that is a different, the body of that structure is different
Mhm.
versus the body of Kuchipudi Sabdams. And it's wonderful to see Nehal do her Sabdam. It's
Thank you.
really nice to see her do it. Thank you.
Thank
Um,
you.
uh, on that note,
Mhm.
I would like to ask, what is the major difference you see in teaching kids now versus when you have learned before?
It's a very good question. I think that's a very uh, thought-provoking question that we all teachers have as to we were trained a certain way and then we are made to rethink the teaching a little bit to suit the students today, right? So undeniably there are differences. I want to acknowledge that first. So I've been watching the show and I've been listening to several teachers talk about a lot of practical things that exist about stamina, about student availability, commitment, energy, whatnot. There's so many things that used to be very different while we went for classes like 4 or 5 times a week. It's only once a week, only 1 hour, and stamina. There are things, but um, I don't deny any of that. But I do think our previous generation might have had a list of things to tell about us that was very different, isn't it?
Yes,
So I mean, I'm sure that they did a lot more than we did, and then things are changing.
yes,
Yes,
they are changing.
yes. When I do want to focus on the positive side of it, that the students now know to ask the why question that not many of us thought about even asking, right?
Right.
Why should the eyebrows move in a certain way to express a certain emotion? That why question did not occur to many in our generation,
Yes.
to our gurus. So I think that's a positive note. They can think out of the box. We've got technology to play in our favor for many conveniences. And I think the generation still has the determination to achieve if they will put their mind into it, if they can buy into it, right?
Right.
So I think to bridge this, the truth does not change. There is no shortcut to excellence, right? So that stands any day. There is no shortcut to excellence other than working it out,
Ye-
working hard on it.
Yes. Yes.
So I think we as teachers don't have to compromise or should not compromise because, like many have said, this generation is what is going to carry this tradition forward. So we don't have to compromise on the standards, but I think we will have to rethink the ways of reaching our students effectively in the given amount of time and strength and stamina, duration, whatever we call it.
Yes. Now the technology is helping us also.
Yes,
So
yes.
as I said, I mean, just adding a note to you, saying that when did we thought that we will teach our lessons online like this
Yes.
in pandemic, and we continued. So what says is a survival of the fittest, I guess, or we can just find a way to maneuver whatever situation to our convenience, I guess.
I think
uh,
so too. I think
yeah,
so too. Because I don't think anything comes out of saying that that's not there, this is not there. But what do we do with what we've got is how
yeah,
I would like to think about teaching.
Yes, absolutely. On that note, Neha, you want to say something? Thank you. I would really appreciate your note. Neha, go ahead. Take it over.
That was a very valid point what you said, Sumitrayaru, because it's very true. We cannot change what we have today, but what we are making the most of is what matters. So definitely, and that was a very refreshing point of view to look at the positives of today. Also, while everybody knows, what we're dealing with and how we're going to cope with it, it's very nice to look at it in a positive light. So that's
And another compliment to the show, both my students who've been watching the show since yesterday have been texting, oh, I could be working on this. I could be working on this. I could get better at this. I'm watching the other. So message driven home, I think,
Yes.
absolutely.
Yes.
And
Yes.
just like you enlightened us even more about the different variations, the shabdams and kautwams, that's something that could happen now because we have the access to seeing so many different styles and so many different performances, which might have not been as easy, in olden days. So that's something that we should be grateful for probably and make the most of it.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Kiran Garu and Nartanam Academy, everyone who has contributed to making this happen. We really, really, really thank you for this opportunity and allowing us to be a part of this event.
Absolutely. I love it. Thank you once again, and enjoy the rest of the evening performances.
Absolutely.
All right.
Namaskar.
Thank you for joining us. Thank you. Thank you very much. Up next, it is our pleasure to invite into our studio Sandhya Athakuri, the founder and artistic director of Natya Dharmi Performing Arts based in Delhi.
Hello, Sandhya garu.
హలో అండి నమస్కారం అండి
Namaskaram Andy. Nice to see you. I have a co-host today, Sneha Kaushik. She is
హాయ్ స్నేహ
Hello, very, very glad to have you with us.
మై ప్లెజర్ అండ్ ఆనర్ టు బి హియర్
It's pleasure is all mine, Andy. Sandhya garu. Neha, you
ఐ
want
హోప్ ఐ డోంట్ డిసప్పాయింట్ యూ
We have heard lots of good things about you, and yeah.
Oh, thank you. You just made my day.
I would just like to share a few of those things with our wider audience. Sandhya Shri, she has inherited the interest in performing arts from her guide and mentor, her mother, Srimati Indira Devi, an award-winning performer, choreographer, and teacher. Srimati Sandhya Shri is an exponent of two leading traditions of South India, Bharatanatyam and Kuchipudi, having trained under eminent gurus in India. In Bharatanatyam, Sandhya belongs to the renowned Vazavur school, having trained under eminent gurus of the Vazavur Ramaya Pillai lineage, Kumari Padma and Kalaimamani Swami Malai Rajaratnam Pillai. She has also learned briefly under Guru Bangalore Bhanumati. As a Kuchipudi artist, she initially trained under Srimati Bala and the senior staff in Padma Bhushan, Guru Vempati Chinnasatyam's Kuchipudi Kalakshetra, and later became one of the privileged disciples of the great Guru himself at Kuchipudi Art Academy in Chennai. She has also taken guidance in Natvangam and vocal music. So, absolute all-round talent. She is the founder and director of Natya Dharmi Foundation for Performing Arts, and she trains her students. And she has also led about 35 dance aspirants so far to perform their arangetrams and ranga praveshams. So that's an accomplishment in itself. Thank you so much for joining us today. Welcome to our studio.
Sneha, I would like to just start with a small shloka. I would just like to offer my prayer. Namo Natya Veda Swarupaya Asmad Guruvaraya Abhinava Siddhendraya Satya Swarupaya Namaste Namaste Namo Namaha.
That is so, Sandhya garu. We appreciate you joining and starting your program with Siddhendra Stoka, or offering up to Guru and the great Guru Siddhendra Swami. Neha, you want to continue?
Yeah.
I would also like to ask you how you we said you started because you had inspiration from your mother, and that's probably the first place we all look for inspiration. So any details you would like to share about that?
So my mother is a musician. She's a postgraduate in music, and she is very passionate about all art forms. And music being in her mandiram, puja mandiramlo. All the gods are behind, but the Tyagaraja Swami is right in front. Like he's the main god, and then there are the other gods. So and the Trinity, Shyama Shastri, Dikshitar, and Tyagaraja. The Sangeeta Trimurti are her gods in her puja mandiram, and the others will be there, Anamata. So that's how much she used to love music. And actually, a few 4 years, 2016 low, her she passed, and I don't know if it is how things work vidhi, so she passed on the same tithi as Pushya Bahula Panchami, the same day that Tyagaraja attained samadhi. So for me, I was marveled by that fact. I don't know whether to mourn her demise or to be so excited that that was the chosen day that she also decided to exit the world. But anyway, coming back to her, so she was my inspiration and everything for me, my guide, mentor, everything. My worst critic, like there is nothing. A program chesna kuda, three people I was always scared of. No matter what the audience said. First, my mother, she would not mince words to critique me. And then my gurus, if it was a Bharatnatyam performance, then my Bharatnatyam guru, who was a very, actually a very soft, he's a sweetheart, like that way. Master Garu was the contrast. So, but these three people, their opinion mattered to me a lot. Sometimes, even if the program was successful or the audience was appreciative, but I would not go to sleep until these three people gave me their opinion about. So I think they helped me be very grounded. And so Amma ki, she wanted to learn dance, but orthodoxity she was not allowed. So she used to sneakily learn dance, I believe, in her hometown Rajahmundry. But and Ankokunda, when I showed interest in dance, then she joined me. We are from Vizag, and Akkada Shipyard Colony lo my first guru Padma, Kumari Padma. She's a disciple of Varu Ramaya Pillai. She used to come and teach. So Arthu Parthu, you just learned a little bit, and then without being serious about just you are love to dance. That's all. Doesn't matter what style it is. At that time, it was available. So like that, and then moving on, I had a small stint in Andhra Natyam, then a small stint in Kuchipudi. All this is between elementary school and pre-high school age time. So I tried a stint in different things, whatever was coming, because I could అంటే ఏదో నేర్చేసుకోవాలి ఏదేదో చేసేసేయాలి that excitement. And my mother also she never expected this, so she was like, she would drive me, and we would live very far outskirts, almost 1.5 hours every day, scooter meida, my father taking me. My first intro to Kuchipudi was with Shyamla Sita, Tekumalla Shyamla Sita Ramaswamy Garu. I was in elementary school appudu. So my dad used to go to Andhra University to take night classes for naval architecture students. So I would go with him, and he would drop me there with Shyamla auntie's house. I would finish నేర్చుకుంటా నేర్చుకుని, and then then Majilo gaps came because studies, and then traveling back and forth. Lot of has other things came up. Then 10th, I think when I was coming into high school lo kostunnappudu, my mom realized that I was becoming serious about dance. So, and Vizag was not very, it was not very lucrative. I mean, it was not fertile ground for good standards now, in my opinion. So, but lot of artists, any program, any style, whoever the artists, we had Vishaka Music Academy and Undedappudu, that was the one, and 2 Bharati Gan Sabha. So these 2 Sabha people would bring stalwarts, great musicians. So I got to see all sorts of musicians and all sorts of dancers and any styles, everybody. So at that time, I loved my exposure, observing and seeing people. So having said that, once Chitra Vishweshwaran ji came, and I told my mother I want to learn, improve myself better. So we met Chitraji after the program, and she said, my mother said, my daughter is really interested. Would you teach her? So she said, sure, bring her to Madras. So, but and I don't know if she really took it seriously or took us seriously. We don't know, but she underestimated my mother. I don't know. So, and even I underestimated my mother. So we went to Maya Vallu. They live in Madras. So my mother's older brother. So we went there, and but Chitraji was very busy. Then she said, I will introduce you to a guru. I'm sorry you came all this way, but I'm very busy. I don't want to take on. So then she introduced me to Swami Malai Rajaratnam Pillai, and I think that's the best thing in a way that has happened in my life. And it's a turning point. I realized how much there, and Gurukula Vasa. Most of the time I would stay from morning to evening in Vadiar's house and just learn. Like observing my seniors and just learning that there was no other world. It was entirely different world for me from where I came from. Then later and I somehow was hell-bent on learning only Chinna Satyam Master Garu style and Mata, even though there were other opportunities that came my way in the guise of with, of course, Andhra Natyam with Nataraj Ramakrishna Garu and Korada Narasimha Rao, and all these opportunities had come. But somehow I think being exposed a lot more to Master Garu's ballets from childhood, I think I was completely hell-bent on only learning those. At that time, Master Garu opened the Kalakshetra in Vizag, and Balakundal Rao Garu was, and her staff, Hari Ramurthy Garu and Mahankali Chandra Master Garu, they all had come there. So then I enrolled there, and Master Garu used to visit every once in 2 months. Then one day he just, I don't know what he was thinking. We did our ballet, Sri Krishna Parijatam. And after that, I played Satyabhama in that. Then after that, he just, మేము వెళ్ళొస్తాం మాస్టర్ గారు అని చెప్పడానికి వెళ్ళాను అంతేను. He just told, రేపు మీ అమ్మాయిని you send her, Coromandel బయలుదేరుతాను, you just send her. So, and then again, like, it was never looking back. He became the father figure. I mean, I can't even describe these gurus. I must have done something really great in my, I mean, Purva Janmalo, some punya must have done. So I was born to my mom, and she, being the slave driver she was, and a slave driver and never forced me, but always alaga, never let me second guess myself. And never let me compromise on quality or adi kuda urke performances kaadu. Not just, she used to say, we are middle class people. You cannot just learn this as some hobby or something like that. I'm not expecting you to do a lot of programs and make money and all that stuff, but I want you to take it like a subject. Okay, subject laga chaduko, you should learn. Andulo edo cheseseyali, like that. So that's how. And then meeting Rajaratnam Master and Venkatachan Satya Master Garu and Balak, all of them, every single person, it was, every day was an eye opener. So that's my journey. And then I happened to get married. I wasn't planning to, but came here. So that's like my story in a nutshell. So yeah.
It was a combination of both inspiration and self-awareness to a certain extent, when you got to see all different forms, and then you chose that path for yourself, and your mother was always there by your side for.
Yes, always. When you were reading my bio, I was smiling because even after doing so many arangetrams, antaru, but my mom was like, what are you doing with your life? Evoru arangetralu chustavu, 4 classes cheptavu, em achieve chestavu life lo. It's like she would never be happy. And even now she's passed, it's been 5 years now. Her voice is literally every day in my head. What have you achieved today new? What are you doing? You're just wasting your time. Ilaga. So constantly
helping ourselves.
Yeah, yes, totally. And be grounded all the time. Be very grounded and learn. Always never take out your student hat. You always have to be a student eternally. Yes, and after becoming a teacher, I became a better artist. I think I became a better artist and became a better person, more empathetic towards అంటే ఇండియాలో ఉన్నప్పుడు ఆ హీట్ ఆ పర్ఫార్మెన్సెస్ ఆహా అసలు మాస్టర్ గారు స్టూడెంట్స్ మేము ఆ వేడి ఆ వాడి we used to end of the age, and then now when you have responsibility is in your lap, and the ball is in your court, you have to play the game correctly, and with a different mindset of kids growing up here and different mindset of adults here. And so I think I matured as a person, as an artist, and a lot learning from the smallest youngest of my students to so I'm glad, I'm happy that I'm always a student, and I don't want to. I miss a guru for myself in that way. I miss those legendary gurus. It's still
Yes.
my, I want to still be a student. I am in one.
I think we are all smart students for sure, and every student teaches us something new. Every
Yes,
every
yes,
student is different, and we mold ourselves to the basic needs of our students. So
yes,
that's what it's a learning experience for us also. So, and
yes,
no one student or no one kid is similar to the other kid. So it's all very personalized, and
yes.
that's
Very
I
personalized.
yes, and that's where I see that we grow with our students. It's
Yes,
every day, every class we take, we grow a little bit more, and
yes,
that experience is out of the world, and that's
yes,
what makes me happy, and that makes me look forward to have more classes or to teach more kids. And it's like
yes.
it's out of the world experience. The only one profession where we get satisfaction is teaching.
Yes, yes,
Yes,
yes.
that's yeah.
Today, while class la morning, some of my students, so one of my students, Nadagar, she learned from childhood and then she got married and now she had a baby last October. So suddenly one of the moms, some of the moms also learn and they suddenly said, oh, Sandhya garu, Miru Amamma kuda no. I mean, I was first taken aback, but then I was so touched and I just started getting excited that that's how they looked at me, like because all these students are my daughters. Now they have children. So I was I'm so happy for one of my students who, and all of them. And I mean, I felt very, very good. So, and of course, we had a discussion. Dance teacher name and Pilawali, auntie and Pilawala, akka and Pilawala, amma and Pilawala, amma and Pilawala. But because we're all in one, we're all
Family.
in one. Yeah, it doesn't matter that that's only a name. Auntie Anna, akka Anna, Emanna, that's only a name. It's the
And
feeling that counts. పేరులో name ఉన్నది అంటాను కదా. So I think it's the feeling that counts. And yes, like whatever you said, it's true. Every day you're growing a little more and you're a little more humbled also. So
yeah,
ఎదుగుతున్నది ఒదగమన్నట్టుగా. So every day, whatever we took for granted, the kids are teaching us. Everybody is teaching us. There's
yes.
so much to learn, and we're totally growing a lot more. Each what you said is, I think I don't want to keep repeating. I echo everything you said. True.
Okay,
Yeah.
on that note, let's continue with tonight's performances. Neha, you want to say?
Yes, absolutely. We are so happy now to be able to view a presentation from our school. The presentation is called Natya Avatara, Aradhana, and the dancers are Murlidhar Lanka, Nihal Bandla, Parashar Atmakuri, Shrija Raju, and Shri Dikshita Atmakuri.
Gurubhyo Namaha. With the blessings of all those great souls who have given us this divine art form, in all humility, Natya Dharmi Performing Arts presents Natya Avatara, an ode to the father of Kuchipudi, Sri Siddhendra Yogi, and Abhinava Siddhendra Yogi, Kuchipudi Mahasadguru, Padma Bhushan, Dr. Vemparchina Satya Master Garu, both deemed to be an embodiment of Natyam.
गिरिजानव पूर्णेन्दुं समञ्चित कलानिधिम् अपास्त विघ्नधामित्रम्
We begin with an invocation, an excerpt from two Nritya Natakams of Master Garu, Menaka Vishwamitra and Shakuntalam, written by Sri S.V. Bhujangarai Sharma Garu and the music ensemble of the erstwhile musicians of the Kuchipudi Art Academy, Chennai, under the music direction of Sri Patrayani Sangeeta Rao Master Garu. Choreography, Padma Bhushan, Guru Dr. Venkat Chinna Satyam Master Garu.
జయము జయము లలిత కళావాణికి జయము జయము రస జగతి రాజికి జయము జయము లలిత కళావాణికి జయము జయము రస జగతి రాజికి జయము జయము లలిత కళా జయము లలిత కళావాణికి జయము జయము రస జగతి రాజికి జయము జయము లలిత కళావాణికి జయము జయము రస జగతి రాజికి జయము జయము లలిత కళావాణికి జయము జయము రస జగతి రాజికి జయము జయము కుసుమాస్త పాళికి జయము జయము కుసుమాస్త పాళికి జయము జయము కుసుమాస్త పాళికి జయము జయము ఋతురాజమౌళికి జయము జయము ఋతురాజమౌళికి జయము జయము లలిత కళావాణికి జయము జయము సాహిత్య పరులకు జయము జయము సంగీత విధులకు జయము జయము నాట్యానుమోదులకు జయము జయము నాట్యానుమోదులకు జయము సరస సామాజిక వరులకు జయము జయము నాట్యానుమోదులకు జయము సరస సామాజిక వరులకు జయము జయము లలిత కళావాణికి కూచిపూడి లలిత కళా సమితి రసికుల సన్నిధి ప్రయోగించు 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 సిద్ధేంద్రుని మధుర ప్రబంధమున సిద్ధేంద్రుని మధుర ప్రబంధమున తిలకింపగా రసము తులకింపగా ఎడద పులకింపగా జయము జయము లలిత కళావాణికి జయము జయము రస జగతి రాజికి జయము జయము లలిత కళావాణికి జయము జయము రస జగతి రాజికి జయము జయము లలిత కళావాణికి
Amongst the many avatars of gods and their ardent devotees, Lord Rama and Saint Tyagaraja share a special relationship bound by unequivocal devotion embedded in music. Saint Tyagaraja saw Lord Rama in every god. Depicting this aspect, we present a kriti from Sri Tyagaraja's musical opera Prahalada Bhakti Vijayam. Lord Mahavishnu descended as Sri Narasimha to protect his dear young devotee Prahalada. With the purpose of the incarnation fulfilled, Lord Vishnu is now ready to leave the earth and go back to his divine abode, Sri Vaikuntha. Little Prahalada is filled with anxiety and in this moving song pleads with his Lord, "Do not leave me, O Lord. I cannot bear to part from you even for a split second." This predicament of little Prahalada through the lyrics of Tyagaraja, rendered by Srimati Bhargavi Prabhu.
నన్ను విడచి కదలకురా నన్ను విడచి కదలకురా నన్ను విడచి కదలకురా రమయ్య రామ కోదండ రామ నన్ను విడచి కదలకురా రమయ్య రామ కోదండ రామ పట్టాభిరామ నన్ను విడచి కదలకురా రమయ్య రామ కోదండ రామ కళ్యాణ రామ నన్ను విడచి కదలకురా రమయ్య రామ రామయ్య బదలకు కదలకురా వదలకురా కదలకురా వదలకురా నిన్ను బాసిగర నిమిషమోర్వను రా నిన్ను బాసిగర నిమిషమోర్వను రా నిన్ను బాసిగర నిమిషమోర్వను రా నన్ను విడచి కదలకురా రమయ్య రామ ಕೂರ ವದಲ ಕೂರ ಕದಲ ಕೂರ ವದಲ ಕೂರ தரமு கானியட வேடு கல்பத்தரு நீட தூரக்கினட்ல வேள தரமு ಗಾನಿಯಡ ವೇಳ ಕಲ್ಪತರು ನೀಡ ದೋರಕಿನಟ್ಲ ವೇಳ ತರಮು ಗಾನಿಯಡ ವೇಡ ಕಲ್ಪತರು ನೀಡ ದೂರಕ್ಕೆ ನಟ್ಲಯ ವೇಳ ನಾಣು ವಿಡಚಿ ಕದ ಕೂರ ರಾಮಯ್ಯ ರಾಮ ರಾಮಯ್ಯ ಬದಲ ಕೂರ ಕದಲ ಕೂರ ಬದಲ ಕೂರ ಕದಲ ಕೂರ ವದಲ ಕೂರ ಅಬ್ಧೇಲೋ ಮುನಿಗೆ ಶ್ವಾಸ ಮೋಲೋ ಬಟ್ಟಿ ಅಬ್ಧೇಲೋ ಮುನಿಗೆ ಶ್ವಾಸ ಮೋಲೋ ಬಟ್ಟಿ ಅಬ್ಧೇಲೋ ಮುನಿಗೆ ಶ್ವಾಸ ಮೋಲೋ ಬಟ್ಟಿ ಅಡಿಯೇ ಮೋತ್ಯಮೋ ಗನ್ನಟ್ಲ ಶ್ರೀರಮಣ ಅಡಿಯೇ ಮೋತ್ಯಮೋ ಗನ್ನಟ್ಲ ಶ್ರೀರಮಣ ನನ್ನು ವಿಡಚಿ ಕದಲ ಕೂರ ರಾಮಯ್ಯ ರಾಮ ಕೋದಂಡ ರಾಮ ಪಟ್ಟಾಭಿರಾಮ ನನ್ನು ಬಿಡಚಿ ಕದಲ ಕೂರ ರಾಮಯ್ಯ ರಾಮ ರಾಮಯ್ಯ ವದನ ಕೂರ ಕದಲ ಕೂರ ವದಲ ಕೂರ ಕದಲ ಕೂರ ವದಲ ಕೂರ
We conclude our presentation with the ever popular Tillana, composed and choreographed by my guru, Padma Bhushan, Dr. Vemparchina Satya Master Garu, in the Raga Hindola, set to Aditalam.
Tatim tim tanana tirana tim tatim titilana tana tana titilana tilana tadim tim tanana tirana tim tatim titilana tana tana titilana tilana tadim tim tanana tirana tim tatim titilana tana tana titilana tilana tadim tim tanana tirana tim tatim titilana tana tana titilana tilana tadim tim tanana tirana tim tatim titilana tana tana titilana tilana tadim tim tanana tirana tim tatim titilana tana tana titilana tilana tadim tim tanana tirana tim tatim titilana tana tana titilana tilana tadim tim tanana tirana tim tatim titilana tana tana titilana tilana tadim tim tanana tirana tim tatim titilana tana tana titilana tilana tadim tim tanana tirana tim tatim titilana tana tana titilana tilana tadim tim tanana tirana tim tatim titilana tana tana titilana tilana tadim tim tanana tirana tim tatim titilana tana tana titilana tilana tadim tim tanana tirana tim tatim titilana tana tana titilana tilana tadim tim tanana tirana tim tatim titilana tana tana titilana tilana tadim tim tanana tirana tim tatim titilana tana tana titilana tilana tadim tim tanana tirana tim tatim titilana tana tana titilana tilana tadim tim tanana tirana tim tatim titilana tana tana titilana tilana tadim tim tanana tirana tim tatim titilana tana tana titilana tilana tadim tim tanana tirana tim tatim titilana tana tana titilana tilana tadim tim tanana tirana tim tatim titilana tana tana titilana tilana tadim tim tanana tirana tim tatim titilana tana tana titilana tilana tadim tim tanana tirana tim tatim titilana tana tana titilana tilana tadim tim tanana tirana tim tatim titilana tana tana titilana tilana tadim tim tanana tirana tim tatim titilana tana tana titilana tilana tadim tim tanana tirana tim tatim titilana tana tana titilana tilana tadim tim tanana tirana tim tatim titilana tana tana titilana tilana tadim tim tanana tirana tim tatim titilana tana tana titilana tilana tadim tim tanana tirana tim tatim titilana tana tana titilana tilana tadim tim tanana tirana tim tatim titilana tana tana titilana tilana tadim tim tanana tirana tim tatim titilana tana tana titilana tilana tadim tim tanana tirana tim tatim titilana tana tana titilana tilana nadritum graditum tana tim tatim titilana tana tirana tim tatim nadritum graditum tana tim tatim titilana tana tirana tim tatim nadritum graditum udara tim tatim tilana 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 tatim tim tanana tirana tim tatim titilana tana tana titilana tilana tatim tim tanana tirana tim tatim titilana tana tana titilana tilana nadritum graditum tana tim tatim titilana
దన ధిరన ధిం తదిం నాదరదిత్తం ధిరదిత్తం దన ధిం తదిం ధితిల్లాన దన ధిరన ధిం తదిం నాదరదిత్తం ధిరదిత్తం దన ధిం తదిం ధితిల్లాన దన ధిరన ధిం తదిం నాదరదిత్తం ధిరదిత్తం ఉదర ధిం తదిం ధిరదిత్తం ధిరదిత్తం ధిరన ధిం తదిం ధితిల్లాన తన తన ధితిల్లాన ధిరన తదిం ధిం తనన ధిరన ధిం తదిం ధితిల్లాన తన తన ధితిల్లాన ధిల్లాన నాదరదిత్తం ధిరదిత్తం తన ధిం తదిం ధితిల్లాన తన ధిరన ధిం తదిం నాదరదిత్తం ధిరదిత్తం తన ధిం తదిం ధితిల్లాన తన ధిరన ధిం తదిం నాదరదిత్తం ధిరదిత్తం తన ధిం తదిం ధితిల్లాన తన ధిరన ధిం తదిం నాదరదిత్తం ధిరదిత్తం తన ధిం తదిం ధితిల్లాన తన ధిరన ధిం తదిం నాదరదిత్తం ధిరదిత్తం తన ధిం తదిం ధితిల్లాన తన ధిరన ధిం తదిం నాదరదిత్తం ధిరదిత్తం ఉదర ధిం తదిం ధిరదిత్తం 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 తన ధిం తనన ధిరన ధిం తదిం ధితిల్లాన తన తన ధితిల్లాన ధిరన తదిం ధిం తనన ధిరన ధిం తదిం ధితిల్లాన తన తన ధితిల్లాన ధిల్లాన నాదరదిత్తం ధిరదిత్తం తన ధిం తదిం ధితిల్లాన తన ధిరన ధిం తదిం నాదరదిత్తం ధిరదిత్తం తన ధిం తదిం ధితిల్లాన తన ధిరన ధిం తదిం నాదరదిత్తం ధిరదిత్తం తన ధిం తదిం ధితిల్లాన తన ధిరన ధిం తదిం నాదరదిత్తం ధిరదిత్తం తన ధిం తదిం ధితిల్లాన తన ధిరన ధిం తదిం నాదరదిత్తం ధిరదిత్తం ఉదర ధిం తదిం ధిరదిత్తం 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 తదిం ధిం తనన ధిరన ధిం తదిం ధితిల్లాన తన తన ధితిల్లాన ధిల్లాన తదిం ధిం తనన ధిరన ధిం తదిం ధితిల్లాన తన తన ధితిల్లాన ధిల్లాన నాదరదిత్తం ధిరదిత్తం తన ధిం తదిం ధితిల్లాన తన ధిరన ధిం తదిం నాదరదిత్తం ధిరదిత్తం తన ధిం తదిం ధితిల్లాన తన ధిరన ధిం తదిం నాదరదిత్తం ధిరదిత్తం తన ధిం తదిం ధితిల్లాన తన ధిరన ధిం తదిం నాదరదిత్తం ధిరదిత్తం తన ధిం తదిం ధితిల్లాన తన ధిరన ధిం తదిం నాదరదిత్తం ధిరదిత్తం తన ధిం తదిం ధితిల్లాన తన ధిరన ధిం తదిం నాదరదిత్తం ధిరదిత్తం ఉదర ధిం తదిం ధిరదిత్తం ధిరదిత్తం తదిం ధిం తనన ధిరన ధిం తదిం ధితిల్లాన తన తన ధితిల్లాన ధిల్లాన తదిం ధిం తనన ధిరన ధిం తదిం ధితిల్లాన తన తన ధితిల్లాన ధిల్లాన శ్రీకుచేలపుర ఆశ్రిత మందార సిద్ధ విద్యాధర సిద్ధేంద్ర యోగివర 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 నీ కృపామృతమే నిత్య జీవనము నీ కృపామృతమే నిత్య జీవనము ప్రాగియల్లు మృదు పదములే ధనము ప్రాగియల్లు మృదు పదములే ధనము నీ కృపామృతమే నిత్య జీవనము ప్రాగియల్లు మృదు పదములే ధనము సమమగస సమగమగస ఇదని గమదని అని సమదని సమమగస సమగమగస ఇదని గమదని అని సమదని సని నిదమ గమదని సని నిదమ మగ మగ సని నిదమ గమదని సని నిదమ మగ మగ సన దిత్తం తన దిం తదిం దితిల్లాన తన ధిరన ధిం తదిం నాదరదిత్తం ధిరదిత్తం తన దిం తదిం దితిల్లాన తన ధిరన ధిం తదిం నాదరదిత్తం ధిరదిత్తం ఉదర ధిం తదిం
The artists are Sri Muralidhar Lanka, Nehal Bandla, Parashar Atmakuri, Srija Raju, and Sri Dikshita Atmakuri. Our heartfelt appreciation and thank you to Srimati Sudha Kiranmay Garu and her team for this dance initiative and for bringing the art, artists, and the torchbearers of this divine art forms under this initiative. We also thank the viewers for watching and extending their blessings to these artists. Thank you very much.
I think we have to say thank you for bringing us these beautiful presentations. Thank you so much.
Please excuse their mistakes. Some of them are like Murli Garu. He lives in Houston, so he's a full-time IT employee, and he used to live here, Detroit Low, and then he moved. So recently again he started. It's so hard for them. IT mindframe nunchi coming and finding time, and recently with Texas having all that ice storms and all that, he still. He was very dedicated that way, and some of the other kids, it's their first time performing. So, any mistakes, please.
No, not about mistake. It's about they coming out and performing, and in spite of this pandemic situation. And I know everybody has their profession separate, and then apart from that, they're coming out doing this, and I really admire that. And especially, I see that in your presentation that there are boys also coming out and performing. That's so rare nowadays. Although Kuchipudi is predominantly
Yes,
male art form before, and they used to be impersonation of women. Now the tables have turned, I would say.
yes, full circle it went.
Full
Yeah.
circle, yes. So now it's more like girls are into it, and ladies or female characters are done by female, and male characters are also done by female nowadays. But
Yes,
yeah.
yes,
So
yes, yes.
again, I really appreciate and thank you for being a part of Siddhendra Aradhana, and then making our evening so delightful.
Thank you
Thank
so much.
you.
Thank you, Sneha. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We all know how important it is to have the feet of a dancer go hand in hand with the rhythm, the tala, the swara of the music in a dance performance. That is what gives us all an immersive experience and gives the rasika the exact bhava that the dancer is trying to portray. So
Yeah.
what we have up next is a very interesting lecture demonstration on this very topic, on how we have to evolve music for a dance performance specifically. And we are so glad to invite into our studio Vasumarthi Sri Krishna, who is a dedicated artist. Welcome.
Hari Om, Namaskaram.
A lot of us have already been, but it's not to our viewers. Vasumarthi Sri Krishna is a dedicated vocalist who has performed in various sabhas across India and Northern America for festivals like the Cleveland Tyagaraja Aradhana. He has also accompanied many artists on the flute for vocal concerts and dance programs. He has worked with music doyens, and he has also worked with renowned Kuchipudi and Bharatanatyam exponents. He has productions. He has accompanied in productions like Lakshmi Prabhavam, Nauka Charitram, Bhamakalpam, Godha Kalyanam, and Chandalika, to mention a few. He has been in the field of music. He has been learning music since the tender age of 5, being initiated by his mother, Srimati Jhansi Rani. And he is also a teacher and educator. And as such, it is our pleasure to have you in our studio today. And we are really waiting to hear from you.
Pleasure is mine, and I have to definitely thank Sudha Garu for kindly inviting me to talk about dance, which is actually one of my favorite subjects. That's why I even play flute. So I'm very thankful to be on the show. Yeah.
It's pleasure is all mine, Krishna Garu, and it's you are a Clevelander that gives me immense. I'm so proud and also pleased at the same time to be a part of this whole cultural tradition, and you having so much of experience in doing kacheris by itself and also playing an accompanying artist for a dance. You are a flutist, you are a vocalist, and you have your own dance, music school where you inculcate or you teach these habits to kids. You have a wonderful repertoire for yourself to follow. So now my question is, without music, there is no dance, or without there is music, it's a separate entity by itself. But for dance, to get it going, we have to have that music. Now, how different is your kacheri music versus dance, the music you play for dance?
So, Sudhakar, I think it's actually very interesting you asked that. A lot of artists um, actually excel in either one field or another field. So, I'm fortunate enough to actually have experienced both of them. It's definitely different. I think one of the best things about dance is the margam, the format of how you present things. I think that's one of the essential factors. If you look at a typical dance, where we start with like alaripu and then shabdam and then varnam comes into play, which is one of your bigger items, right, in Bharatanatyam. But if you look at a kacheri, which is Carnatic kacheri, varnam is the first thing that we start with. So just a simple contrast there. So I think being on stage for both of them, they have, it's almost, one of the best examples I give my students is what is the difference between reading a book and watching a movie, right? You read a book, which is let's say Carnatic kacheri is like a big subject which you're trying to listen, and it's like a book study. Some people love that. That's the only thing that they love. Now dance on the other hand is almost like expression of that with a lot of understanding of the lyrics itself. So I think that's where the biggest contrast is, right?
Yes, I agree with that. So on that note, I have, contacted, I have been exposed to so many musicians who play for dance and who not want to play dance or do not want to play dance. What do you think is the predominant reason why they have? Because for me, it's different. I agree. Carnatic music. Hello.
Yeah, I can hear. Yes.
Yes. We have for dance, we have a lot of rhythm. So what they say is my tonal quality doesn't suit for dance. Or I mean that is a way of saying that we both play for dance. So what is your take on it?
No, I think those two are two demanding subjects, right? So if you look at, I have also given flute kacheris, right? So
Yes.
let's talk exactly about that. So your question is like a lot of people hesitate, a lot of artists actually hesitate because number one, I think dance requires a lot of teamwork.
Yes.
I think, and again, it's not to say that they're not team players, but I think the most important part sometimes is to observe, to listen. I think a lot of people don't have that habit of listening. I think I almost feel like I have to be in the center of the stage all the time because I know better than the guys that are doing something else. That deprives you of learning sometimes. I think which is very fundamental for a human element. You need to listen, even if it's kids. When we are teaching, we learn so much from kids. So it's just like that. That could be one of the aspects. Now the other question you asked is about, oh, I'm going to lose my voice if I sing a lot, right? You make me sing like 15 repetitions. Yes, I absolutely agree, and I literally resonate with them because I have played for so many rehearsals for certain dance teachers, and some are more impromptu. They like to just improvise on the spot, right?
Right.
So it I think it's different. I wanted to actually experiment it, so, and I was extremely successful because I learned so much about dance, the effects that you play specific to only dances, which you cannot actually play in a kacheri setting. So, or sing for that matter, some of the expressions or the way we sing, take kuchipudi for example. It's more lyrical, where you're expressing and you're allowed to lip sync with the artist, right, in the dance. So in Bharatanatyam you're not lip syncing in Bharatanatyam, which is purely expressive. It's just the bhavam that comes out of it. So yeah, absolutely, they are two different. It's like I want to study this, I want to study this. I think I like being versatile and learning both.
Yeah, I agree that Kuchipudi is probably one of the dance forms to have all like all
Correct.
abhinayas, so which is Vachika Abhinaya also. And then we are allowed to lip sync. And what Master Garu used to say is, if you lip sync or if you feel the lyrics into you, then the bhavam comes out, and then you can actually express what you wanted to express, what the innate meaning of that particular lyric is, not just going with Padardha Abhinaya. And then
Exactly.
yes, and then when it comes to repetition, each repetition is different, and each repetition has its own what should I say, gamakas or alapas, gives a dancer to express his or her bhavam to face, which makes you feel. So that's what is. So again, I really happy that you are here and I could talk to you, because you are both a lyricist, a vocalist, and also a flutist. So how different it is to sing versus doing a flute.
Absolutely. Oh my God. I think, I mean, even the teachers that I learned, constant struggle of being a flute player is getting closer to that vocal expression. I think even the best of the best flautists have been probably 60% successful in getting closer to the vocal. It's very easy to sing compared to playing flute. I have to tell you that outrightly. I think any instrument for that matter is really, really tough, and it's just a gift of God. Um, it's very demanding to spend time with it a lot. I mean, you probably danced in Bharatanatyam style and Kuchipudi, so even few things that you have to consciously do just for instrument, like sitting 2 hours just to practice all the Sarali Varsai, everything to get correctly with the same tonal quality like you sing is really tough. It's very demanding. I think that the easiest thing for me to do is singing versus playing flute, but flute somehow fulfills me. I don't know how to express it, but it's
No,
just
I
like two sides of the coin, right? Yes.
Yes, it is. It is because when it comes to singing, you are actually talking and expressing. But when it comes to flute, it's like the voice is coming through the flute, and it is. I heard it's one of the most difficult instrument to have or to learn, because it has
Absolutely.
to, both music or vocal or flute needs a lot of lungs. Is what I heard.
Absolutely, yeah. It's very demanding instrument. A lot of, I think, and I still consider myself a big learner of both these art forms. I think, in full disclosure, any artist for that matter constantly learns. They probably won't tell that to a lot of people outrightly, but they constantly learn. That's what keeps us going. And flute, oh my God, it's definitely a demanding instrument. It's directly related. If you want to play continuously, you need to have continuous supply of air,
Air.
which a human being cannot. You have to take a breath. So obviously there is a stopping point for you to extend a note, and yes, absolutely, I think it's one of the toughest instruments, but a lot of people think it's very easy. It's very small, it's handy. I have heard all things about flute, yes.
Flute versus vocal. What do you think?
What do I prefer? Both. I'll have, that's what I told you, right? Like, I think fulfillment comes for me is like when I'm singing a ragam, it sounds amazing in vocal, expressions and everything. I always wonder in the back of my mind, how would it sound on flute? I always have my flute around whenever I'm learning something new that I have to teach my students or learn from my teachers. It's like, how do they get these effects? And some things are actually not good to play. What you play on flute won't come that well in vocal. And it's likewise, it's whatever you sing, sometimes you cannot translate that into flute. So I always enjoy learning both of them. But if I were to say what is easy, which is probably a fair question, is vocal for me. Yeah, it naturally comes out. And Saraswati Kadaksham, I think I'm fortunate to feel that although I have a full-time IT profession, I still struggle to learn both. Yes.
How do you balance your life with your kacheris, music kacheris, flute kacheris, and part of the company for many profound dance. So how do you balance that? I mean, now it's fine. You anyways can't go and it's all
Yeah.
or how do you balance it?
I'll tell you something. I think I have to thank my dear wife for giving me enormous time to spend with the instrument and vocal. I think there is nothing to I think nothing more to thank them for the family that I have that are supporting me in saying, like, what, go for your performance. If you want to fly to Atlanta or wherever you go, it takes a lot of time and commitment. I have seen a lot of artists kind of going back and not practicing the art only because of lack of time. So the biggest balance factor for me is time management. If you can maintain the time, have a clear idea of like how much time can you dedicate for vocal, for flute in a given week, and then how to prep for these big artists. I think one of the things that we are unfortunate. I think you also work, so you can correlate with me better. I'm not a full-time artist. If you're a full-time artist, you probably have a lot of time to practice and chisel your gamakams or expressions on flute and everything. But for us, time is literally very, very limited. In the short window I was practicing sometimes like late nights, 2 a.m., 3 a.m. just to give the effect that the dancers want or the kacheri demands. I think the stage, depending on the stage, you have to practice a lot. I'm fortunate that the family understands, and I think my key is to maintain the time. You have to manage time. Talk less, work more. That's it.
I think I should thank my family. Not, I think I have to, especially my husband, because he's been so cooperative so far. And without his cooperation, I wouldn't have done anything in my dancing career. Now, my next question would be: you have played for both Kuchipudi and also Bharatanatyam. Okay, so for Kuchipudi, flute plays a very, very important role.
Absolutely, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And the same for Bharatanatyam also. So what is the major difference, if there is any?
That's a very interesting question you asked, because I think what I did notice, again, this is just from an artist's view, there is probably a lot more subject that a lot of people can explain, but I'm going to actually complicate the question further and add Andhra Natyam and other dances like North Indian dances. I did play. One thing about flute, if there is one instrument that is kind of common in North Indian dances and then South Indian dances, North Indian music and South Indian music, that is flute. Have you noticed that? Like if it's Veena, it's dedicated to South India. It's more indigenous to South Indian crowd. Whereas if you look at North India, the music is more vocal centric, right? It's not lyrical centric. Now let's take it one more step to Bharatanatyam. Obviously, it's bhava, raga, talam. Like that's it's more nritta that is in action in Bharatanatyam. Kuchipudi is more of like drama. It's almost like you can talk. It's a different style altogether. So my experience with Kuchipudi is you need to have a lot of dramatic effects when you're playing for Kuchipudi or singing for it. You have the voice have to have the texture of presenting, literally imagining how the artist there is trying to lip sync with you. That's how Kuchipudi is. Bharatanatyam, you have a lot of room for exploration in terms of raga, and the footwork is amazing. Their laya control for Bharatanatyam is a lot more defined. I feel there are more jatis in Kuchipudi, so it's all a mix. I think there is one plus point here, one extremely plus point here, one minimal point. There is no negative here. I'm just saying that the portion variation is different between Kuchipudi and Bharatanatyam. That's what I have noticed.
Absolutely, it is different because Bharatanatyam is more according to lines and angles, and Kuchipudi is more Lokadharmi, and it is Yakshagana tradition. As you said, there is so much of bhavam to be expressed, and there is a lip sync. There is because it's Yakshagana tradition, and before we used to sing and dance by itself. So that gives a versatility, meaning you have to learn, you have to be well versed in music. For Kuchipudi is what I'm talking. Have to be sing. Your tonal quality should be good, and it should be very well received. So if you have like very bad tonal quality, but you can identify ragas, or you can sing.
Correct.
That's
Yeah.
so
Yeah, you are absolutely right. The repertoire of the artist that is singing or playing for both, you can almost tell by the way they render it. And obviously there is a big difference between a person who knows the knowledge versus who only knows how to sing for dances. You can see that in the manodharma aspect of it. Is one of the famous, I researched about it. Actually, I did view a clip of Bala Saraswati Garu. I don't know if you know Bala. So she was known for Krishnani Beganabaro, impromptu improvisation on the spot, right? But nobody observes this part. It's like she's that good in music also.
yes.
That's how the output has that effect or the reach for the artist. A lot of people ask me how manodharmam in kacheri is like, okay, you have to have raga jnanam, you have to have swara jnanam, and it's all dependent on me. There is freedom for me. But manodharmam for a dancer, think of it, there is an interdependency with the artist who is singing and the whole orchestra and the audience who can actually receive that at that time. Exactly. So that's very, very important. You are absolutely right on. Knowledge matters. How much skill you have shows up when you touch the instrument or open your mouth. Literally, yes.
Absolutely. So that's where again my follow-up question is, why do you think? I mean, probably maybe it's not a appropriate question to you because you play for both kacheri and dance. Why do you think the vocalists, some of them who are more into the kacheri aspect of it, don't want to play for the dance aspect? Like, my biggest question, because the more you work on, the better you will become, right?
So I think it's just like a painter's job. I think few people love exploring what they have. It's almost like I have this many colors and you're asking me to paint only with these 3 colors. So a few people don't prefer that. They might have different shades of those colors, but I'm talking in very layman's terms. I don't think they mean any disrespect to dance, like playing for dance is, it's considered less. I don't think that's the case. I think most of them try to sway away because they have bigger wealth of knowledge that they could present in that 1.5 hour, and perhaps there is a time restriction that is there, because if you're dancing you need to go for rehearsals. You need, if you're dancing, you need to synchronize your sangatis or core wise, what jatis, whatever it is specific to the dancer and the teacher. But if it's on my own, I have a lot more to show you. Perhaps that could be a reason why they step back. But and I kind of have seen both the sides of the story, and I have seen even gurus sometime telling, like, don't venture into that. It's too much. It's very, very extremely tiresome, tiring, and you have to go for the rehearsals till like 8 o'clock. You keep playing the same thing again and again, and some of those jatis you don't even use regularly. They are only specific to that one particular dance drama or something. So yeah, I think it's probably that perspective. I could think of these are the reasons that people might do it. And there were so many times where I had to say no for certain dance shows or certain kacheris for that matter, likewise, because of these time restrictions. I think nothing more than that. And think of it also this way, structure for kirtanas has a lot of more range. When you're singing these kirtanas, there are so many ragams, right, that you can sing, like Nasika Bhushani, Latang, some things that you cannot actually present in dances. So what should I? So my question back to the dance community at that point would be, why don't they introduce some of the ragams that they have never socialized in the whole dance industry? Why is it always Hamsadvani, Nata in the beginning? Why don't you introduce something more, or like Ghanta ragam, or like some ragams that people never heard? So yes, it's almost like why choreography is more dance or teacher centric, but look at some of the I think she mentioned a few in the beginning, like Lakshmi Prabhavam, Chitravina Ravikiran sir did it. Or even Chandalika is more like danced choreography highlight piece. But there are so many other dance opera shows that I played for where different ragams I never played in the past happened. So Lakshmi Prabhavam, for that matter, the beginning of the show itself started with like 9 like Navaraga Malika Kriti of the Ravikiran Garu. So yeah, I think there is opportunity on both the sides, Sudhakar, to say the simple way. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. That's your insight, and I really, really appreciate you coming. I know I gave very short notice, but you still could make it, and I am grateful to you. Talking about musical aspects when it comes to dance. And with experience, I hope we maybe create one dance or maybe write one with the ragam which you're talking about for dance, and maybe I could choreograph for that. So that would be our next topic to discuss. And for sure, we would ask our dance fraternity to work on that one. That's something which we need to think about. So
absolutely, and it's my pleasure actually to say the least. I think these are all great questions, and I'm pretty sure that every artist has some sort of struggle in mentioning it the way I did. So if I said anything by mistake or accidentally, please forgive that. But there is nothing targeted for either dance or music here. We're just discussing it.
No, we are just discussing. It's a small general discussion. That's it. There is nothing to back about. It's everybody's personal perspective.
Absolutely.
So thank you again for being a part of Aradhana Day 2, and we really appreciate your time. I know you're a very, very busy person with your multitasking, and again, I come back to your time management. Thank you very much.
Jai Sri Narayan. I think thank you so much for having me, and my namaskarams to all the great teachers that have contributed to our show. And I'm hoping, I know this whole pandemic made us think of new ways of bringing out dances and shows. I really give kudos to you for setting up this 3-day program. I really wish all the dance teachers make these ventures and keep continuing the art, keep practicing.
With everybody's blessings, we will for sure try and make it as productive as possible, even in this pandemic situation. Thank you.
Jai Sri Ram.
Jai Sri Ram.
Thank you so much. That was truly such an enlightening discussion. And I can already hope to see a new collaboration come out of those final questions. I can see in your mind already. So lots of more exciting things to come for sure in the future.
Thank you.
Up next, I am so proud to introduce the person because of who we are all together right now and experiencing this wonderful Aradhana. It is my pleasure to introduce Srimati Sudha Kiranmai Totapalli, who is the creative director of Nartanam Dance Academy. She, as we all know, again, this is just a very small introduction for our viewers. She has earned her master's degree from Central University in Hyderabad in performing arts with Kuchipudi as a major. She also started learning dance at the young age of 5 under her first guru, Srimati Madhu Nirmala. She is well-versed in both Kuchipudi and Bharatanatyam, and she also trained under renowned gurus like Dr. Jonalagadda Anuradha. She was also trained under Padma Shri Dr. Vampati Chinnasatyam during her master's study, Abhinaya training under Dr. Kalanidhi Narayan. Alongside with learning Kuchipudi, she also learned the Kalakshetra Bani of Bharatanatyam dance under Shri Badampudi Lakshmi. Being a grade A artist of Doordarshan, she has performed in many prestigious festivals, both in India and abroad. She has dedicated herself to teaching dance, both Kuchipudi and Bharatanatyam, at Nartanam Dance Academy, and she is committed to promote and preserve India's rich culture through her teachings and community programs, as we are very well seeing in this wonderful Aradhana, which has so many beautiful dance teachers and wonderful presentations for us all to witness. Our next presentation is from Nartanam Dance Academy, and we're excited to see Deva Devam Bhaje.
Thank you, Neha, for a wonderful introduction. I really appreciate it. Our next performance is Deva Devam by students of Nartanam Dance Academy. Again, I'm going to invite them.
Wonderful. This was a beautiful presentation, Hindola Raga Khanda Chaputala. And this was choreographed by Sudha Kiranmai herself. And the performers in this piece were Arshrita Kuta and Hamsika Totapalli. That was a beautiful performance. Wishing them all the best for all future performances. That was a wonderful job. Up next, we have Namo Namo Raghukula Nayaka. This is another tribute to Lord Rama, and the performer will be Lasya Raj.
Lasya, are you ready? Laya, are you ready? Okay.
Thank you, Raya. That was such a graceful performance. Again, this was choreographed by Srimati Sudha Kiranmay Totapalli. A beautiful performance, and the credits for this rare composition they go to Silicon Anta Sampada. Do you have
Laya,
to share about these two pieces that you choreographed? Both were incredibly beautiful.
nothing much. They both are very close to me. And then Laya, I would like to talk about a few minutes. Laya, you want to come on? She learned this performance in less than 2.5 days, and with her busy schedule, and she's not even at her hometown. She's somewhere else. She still could learn it and then present it, and that shows the enthusiasm. She's been learning since so long, and she's been my student. I am glad that she could present this item in such a less time. And same is the case with Hamsika and Ashrita, who did the previous performance. They learned it since they've been learning with me since so long, but this pandemic situation, they couldn't come here. I had to teach them online. It was a challenge. I'm sure all the teachers face the same challenge, but life should go on, I guess. And they did it beautifully. Thank you all, both, all three kids who did it. And Laya, good job, Anna. Very good job, Anna. All right.
Thank you.
Um,
That was truly beautiful. Thank you.
we will move on with the next performance we have in our studio, Sneha.
Absolutely. Up next, it is our pleasure to invite Srimati Aruna Chandra, who is the Artistic Director of Prerana Academy of Performing Arts. Welcome to our studio. It is a pleasure to have you here.
The
Aruna
pleasure is all
Chandra,
mine.
thank you. She has learned Kuchipudi from Sri Uma Shankar from the tender age of 3. And she has given many performances as a youngster and teenager and also won numerous awards in various competitions during the 13 years of her tutelage under Sri Uma Shankar. She has given many performances in and around the Chicago area for local cultural events, as well as in events like Tana 2009, CTA 2009, to name a few. Her extensive training under Sri Pasamarthi Venkateshwara Sharma and Srimati Veena Murthy Vijay have further honed her skills in Kuchipudi. What started as a training session consisting of 3 to 4 students in January of 2009 to enthusiastic students has now grown into an academy where many students, kids, and adults are trained in various aspects of Kuchipudi and Carnatic classical music. Driven by an urge to expand her academic knowledge in dance in general and in Kuchipudi in particular, she recently graduated in the Master of Arts in Kuchipudi Dance from the University of Silicon, Andhra, California. Welcome once again.
Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome, Aruna Chandra Garu. It's really an honor to have you in our studio today, and thank you for obliging and forthcoming to participate in Siddhendra Aradhana Festival of Dance. It's an immense pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity, and thank you for inviting our academy and the students of our academy and myself to this event. So I'm greatly honored to be a part of this event today. So thank you very much.
Okay. On that note, let's proceed with our performances tonight. We will start with the students of Aruna Chandra Garu. You want to say the intro, Sneha?
Yes, they will be performing Ramayana Shabdam, and the performers are Dhriti Anku, Mitali Atwale, Shruti Karnam, Manjusha Pettireddy.
దశరథవర కుమారుడవైతివి 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 దైవతో సుయాగముగాచితివి దైవతో సుయాగముగాచితివి రసికుడ సీతను పెండాడితివి రసికుడ సీతను పెండాడితివి రవికులమున బలవంతుడవైతివి రవికులమున బలవంతుడవైతివి సంతకినాదిరిజాగదిజం సంతకినాదిరిజాగదిజం అంతట వనవాసము చేసితివి అంతట వనవాసము చేసితివి అంతట వనవాసము చేసితివి ఆడిన మయముగ వెంబడించితివి ఆడిన మయముగ వెంబడించితివి చింతిత ఇది మన వశమనుకొంటివి చింతిత ఇది మన వశమనుకొంటివి ధనం తకధి తకినం తకధి ధనం తకధి తగినాం తగ జటాయు తెలుపగ వినుమనియతనికి జటాయు తెలుపగ వినుమనియతనికి చెడని పదవిగాను సగిన వెనుక చెడని పదవిగాను సగిన వెనుక తత్తే తగిత్త తాం తత్తే హిత్త దగడతాం తత్తే తగిత్త తాం తత్తే హిత్త దగడతాం హనుమంతునిచే అభయమొసగితివి హనుమంతునిచే అభయమొసగితివి అల సుగ్రీవుని ఆదరించితివి అల సుగ్రీవుని ఆదరించితివి సధరి ధరి తగిన ధరిత ధరిత జం సధరి ధరి తగిన ధరిత ధరిత జం జయముగ వృక్షము చాటున నీతివి జయముగ వృక్షము చాటున నీతివి శరమున వాలిని కూలవేసితివి శరమున వాలిని కూలవేసితివి తకణం తకహం తనం తకహం తకణం తకహం తనం తక వానర సేనల దండు గుర్చితివి వానర సేనల దండు గుర్చితివి వారధి గట్టిగా బంధించితివి వారధి గట్టిగా బంధించితివి గది గది ఛం దా గది ఝం గది గది ఝం దా గది ఝం శరణని వచ్చిన వాణి గాచితివి శరణని వచ్చిన వాణి గాచితివి హరి 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 రణ బిరుదు గట్టితివి హరి 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 రణ బిరుదు గట్టితివి తక్కి తక్కిట తకధా కిటకిట ఝం తక్కి తక్కిట తకధా కిటకిట ఝం అసురుని కులమెల హతము చేసితివి అసురుని కులమెల హతము చేసితివి అరయతమ్మునకు అభయమొసగితివి అరయతమ్మునకు అభయమొసగితివి ధన ధన ధా ధనం ధన ధం ధన ధన ధా ధనం ధన లంక కూల్చితివి లంక కూల్చితివి అగ్గలించి రావణుదించితివి అగ్గలించి రావణుదించితివి తక్కిట తక జను తరికిట తక తత్తి తక్కిట తక జను తరికిట తక పట్టము గట్టివి భీషణులంకలు పట్టము గట్టివి భీషణులంకలు పెట్టి వెడలితివి సీత సమేతుడవై లంకలు పెట్టి వెడలితివి సీత సమేతుడవై అట్టి అయోధ్య పట్టణమున మరి 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 పట్టభద్రుడై ప్రబలిన రామ పట్టభద్రుడై ప్రబలిన రామ దిట్టముగా పెరుందేవిని గూడియు దిట్టముగా పెరుందేవిని గూడి గట్టిగా భక్తుల భక్తి శుభములను గట్టిగా భక్తుల భక్తి శుభములను కట్టడి చేసిన కరివరరా పెట్టెద 10,000 సాష్టాంగ దండము పెంపుగ చూడుము పరాకు బహు పరాకు రామ పరాకు లేఖను దిరి దిరి నం నం దిరి దిరి సహ దిరి దిరి సక సహిగిన తం తత తజిత తత్తದಿಂದ ತತ್ತ ತದ್ದಿಂದ ತತ್ತ ತತ್ತದಿಂದ ತತ್ತ ತತ್ತದಿಂದ ತತ್ತದಿಂದ ದಿಂದ ಶ್ರೀರಾಮ್ ತತ್ತ ತದ್ದಿತ್ತ ತತ್ತದಿಂದ ದಿಂದ 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 ತರಗಿಡದಿಂದ 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 ಪಗದರಗಿಡದಾಗ ಧಿಮ್ 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 ಧಿನ್ನ ಗಿಡದಾಗ ಧಿಮ್ 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 ಧಿನ್ನ ಗಿಡದಾಗ ಧಿಮ್ 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 ಧಿನ್ನ ಗಿಡದಾಗ ಧಿಮ್ ಧಿಮ್ ಧಿನ್ನ ಗಿಡದಾಗ ಧಿಮ್ ಧಿನ್ನ ಗಿಡದಾಗ ಧಿನ್ನ ಗಿಡದಾಗ ಧಿನ್ನ ಗಿಡದಾಗ ಧಿಮ್ 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 ಧಿನ್ನ ಗಿಡದಾಗ ಧಿಮ್ 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 ಧಿನ್ನ ಗಿಡದಾಗ ಧಿಮ್ 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 ಧಿನ್ನ ಗಿಡದಾಗ ಧಿಮ್ ಜಿತ್ತ 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 ತಜಂ ತದಿ ಗಿನ್ನತ್ತ ಜೈ ತಜಂ ತದಿ ಗಿನ್ನತ್ತ ತಜ ತದಿ ಗಿನ್ನತ್ತ ತದಿ ಗಿನ್ನತ್ತ ತದಿ ಗಿನ್ನತ್ತ ತದಿ ತಜ ತದಿ ಗಿನ್ನತ್ತ ಜೈ ತಜಂ ತದಿ ಗಿನ್ನತ್ತ ತಜ ತದಿ ಗಿನ್ನತ್ತ ತದಿ ಗಿನ್ನತ್ತ ತದಿ ಗಿನ್ನತ್ತ ತದಿ ತಜ ತದಿ ಗಿನ್ನತ್ತ ತರ್ಗಿಡ್ತಂ ತಜ ತಕ್ಕ ದಿಕ್ಕು ತಿರ್ದಿಗೆ ತರ್ಗಿಡ್ತಂ ತಜ ತಕ್ಕ ದಿಕ್ಕು ತಿರ್ದಿಗೆ ತರ್ಗಿಡ್ತಂ ತಕ್ಕ ದಿಕ್ಕು ತಿರ್ದಿಗೆ ತರ್ಗಿಡ್ತಂ ತಕ್ಕ ದಿಕ್ಕು ತಿರ್ದಿಗೆ ತರ್ಗಿಡ್ತಂ ತಕ್ಕ ಜಗ್ ತಕ್ಕ ದಿಕ್ಕು ತಕ್ಕ ಜಗ್ ತಕ್ಕ ದಿಕ್ಕು ತಿರ್ದಿಗೆ ತಕ್ಕ ಜಗ್ ತಕ್ಕ ದಿಕ್ಕು ತಕ್ಕ ಜಗ್ ತಕ್ಕ ತೋ ದಿಕ್ಕು ತಕ್ಕ ಜಗ್ ತಕ್ಕ ದಿಕ್ಕು ತಕ್ಕ ಜಗ್ ತಕ್ಕ ದಿಕ್ಕು
That was so well coordinated. Such a beautiful, graceful performance. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure to witness that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Up next, we have the privilege to watch Srimati Arunachandra herself perform Sarasama Dana, composed by Tyagaraja in Kapi Narayani Raga and Aditara.
Can you hear the music?
Yes, we can.
दशरथात्मजम् अप्रमेयम् सीतापतिम् रघुकुलावण्य रत्नदीपम् आजानुबाहुम् अरविन्ददलायताक्षम् रामम् निशाचर विनाशकरम् नमामि 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 सरस सावधान वेददंड चतुर सरस सावधान वेददंड चतुर सरस सावधान वेददंड चतुर साक्षी देव देव देवोभवे सरस सावधान वेददंड चतुर साक्षी देव देव देवोभवे सरस सावधान वेददंड चतुर परम शांभवा वेशरूढनूचु परम शांभवा ग्रेशरूढनूचु परम शांभवा ग्रेशरूढनूचु परम शांभवा ग्रेशरूढनूचु परम शांभवा ग्रेशरूढनूचु Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Paramashambhava Vesharudhanuchu 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 Balpuravanudu తెలియలేకపోతే బల్పురావనుడు తెలియలేకపోతే పరమశాంభవ శేషరుడూజు బల్పురావనుడు తెలియలేకపోతే కరసావధాన చతుర సాటి సరస సావధాన వేదదండ చతుర హితవు మాటలతో బాగబల్కితివి హిత హితము మాటలతో భాగవల్గితివి హితము మాటలతో భాగవల్గితివి హితము మాటలతో భాగవల్గితివి సతముగానయోధ్య నిత్తునంటివి 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 నత సహోదరుని రాజు చేసిరాక నత సహోదరుని రాజు చేసిరాక నత సహోదరుని రాజు చేసిరాక నత సహోదరుని రాజు చేసిరాక హతము చేసితివి త్యాగరాజనూత హతము చేసితివి త్యాగరాజనూత సరస సావధాన వేదనండ చతుర సరస సావధాన వేదనండ చతుర సరస సావధాన వేదనండ చతుర సాటి దైవ దేవ ప్రే బ్రవే సరస సావధాన వేదనండ చతుర సాటి దైవ దేవ ప్రే బ్రవే సరస సావధాన వేదనండ చతుర
That was such a beautiful, graceful, wonderful performance. It was indeed our privilege to be able to witness that.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you to Nartanam Dance Academy. Thank you to Sudha Garu for this wonderful, wonderful opportunity and a platform that you have given all of us to celebrate the joy of dance. So thank you, and joy of Kuchipudi. So thank you very much for this opportunity.
Pleasure is all mine, Aruna Chandra Garu. It is really a really treat to watch you perform. And the moment I call you, you were like so forthcoming, and you said yes, we will do it. And then see all the dancers or all the gurus, whoever I've called in this regards, they were all very forthcoming and cooperative, and they were like really encouraging me. It's a good initiative. So thank you all the gurus, and thank you Aruna Chandra Garu for being such a sport and coming in and then performing. Really appreciate it. And
Anytime. Thank you again. So it's been such a long time during this pandemic that we didn't get an opportunity to perform, and this
correct.
is such a wonderful thing that we're all coming out of our closets and resting ourselves and presenting ourselves and getting ready for bigger things to come. So I hope and pray and wish you all the very best in your future endeavors, and may you have many more such events to
Absolutely. With your blessings and with all of my guru's blessings and every dance performer today and yesterday and tomorrow, I will for sure make sure that we continue this tradition in forthcoming years. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you again. And I think that brings us to the end of this evening's session of Day 2, Siddhendra Aradhana. Any
Yes.
words before we conclude the session?
Yes. That was the concluding item of today's Siddhendra Aradhana. And tomorrow is going to be also another wonderful day. We have Anupama Kailash ma'am talking about Bhava. I don't want to give out all of them, so please join tomorrow morning. We at 9 o'clock sharp, and then we continue our endeavors. Tomorrow is going to be even more special because the surprises coming for tomorrow. Thank you, Neha, for being my co-host today and introducing me and making this whole event, day 2 event, successful. Thank
So
you.
much. It
And
was a pleasure completely. Thank you.
thank you all viewers. Good night and keep dancing. Shri Guru Namaha.